All right. Rundown. It is what? February 28th, 27th? 27th. 27th. Brought to you by High Noon. Real vodka, real juice. They got the big cans for peach and pineapple. They got all the other flavors. You can find them at highnoonspirits.com or go to Jersey Get delivered. I still have my power rankings are currently the same. Passion fruit, pineapple, pear, the 3 Ps. Those are my 3. All right, let's get into it. We'll start the Jake Paul Tyson Fury fight, which
we gotta have a funeral for you as a combat sports analyst, right?
Yeah, Tommy Fury is not a real boxer.
Of course, he's a real boxer.
No chance.
He's a professional boxer. Is he a world champion? No, but maybe he is. Is he?
No.
What is he? What is
Tommy Fury?
He might have some sort of a title.
If he does, it's in name only. I saw Tommy Fury box. He is not a boxer. I think Jake Paul would kill Tommy Fury.
Come on, though. Come on.
No, I was in it. I never made it a reputation bet, but I was absolutely on Dave's side. He and I
we got tricked.
We got tricked. We got duped.
Oh, okay.
No, we didn't get duped.
Because here's the backstory. Dan and I announced for Showtime Jake Paul's fight in Cleveland. Tommy Fury was on the undercard of that versus a guy who literally was selling popcorn in the stands. Like
Jake Paul's sparring partner.
He was horrible. And he gave Tommy Fury like everything he could handle more. The guy couldn't throw a punch. He couldn't do it. I don't know if he went into training for like 2 years nonstop. But what I watched, it was like that guy's not a boxer. They're just building this up for these two to fight. And Jake Paul takes it very seriously. I know Tommy Fury, his brother's great. That doesn't mean he's great. What I saw. Right. But, and to be honest, so yeah, my reputation's
but
tattered,
like
beaten, destroyed.
When you were on Rogan, didn't they even like pull up clips of other fights?
It was a quick thing, and it's like, yeah, the guy wasn't throwing punches. I didn't go back and research. I knew what I saw, and I was fucking wrong. So, and to be honest, I don't know that I was wrong about Jake Paul. I was wrong about Fury. Like Fury, I'm not saying Fury's heavyweight champ, but he was competent. Listen, I knew 20 seconds into the fight, I was wrong. Yeah. Like it was one of those things like, I'm wrong. I am wrong.
Yeah, he fought a 5'7" sparring partner who's, I just looked it up, he's inactive as a boxer right now, and he struggled with him. And we saw that with our own 2 eyes. And
like his odds, Dan, were minus like 7 billion that night to knock him out within 20 seconds. He couldn't handle him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what changed.
Was there ever like, was he injured? Was he sick? Was there ever any mention of what happened that night? Like why he was so bad?
No, he's just bad.
He's just bad. And from what I had seen or thought was that he didn't really care about boxing. Like it just got to the point where Jake Paul offered him so much money where it's like, fuck it, I'll do it. Years ago, right? 2 years ago?
3 years ago?
It was the first fight with the MMA guy.
I want to say it was let's see.
Ben Askren?
2021.
No, it was the other
2 years
guy.
ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, he was what? He's only like 23 now, so he was 21 doing reality TV.
He looked like he had never been in a gym in his life. And I know Jake Paul takes it seriously. So
the weird part is I boxed myself in. We got duped, but I boxed myself in.
We did get duped. Like Dan and I were talking about last night. It's like we took a heavy stand on celebrity boxing and we got duped.
We got duped. And what sucks is I always had the take like Jake Paul. I remember doing a rundown when he beat, I can't remember who he beat. And it was like, people were saying, oh, yeah, he's going to.
Woodley. It's Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah, he's going to shake up the boxing world. I was like, no, he's not. When he fights a real boxer, he's going to lose because real boxers are better than Jake Paul. Jake Paul's good for what he is. My mistake was thinking Tommy Fury wasn't a real boxer.
Correct. And I don't know that Tommy, I don't know what I thought, I've never been like, yes, Jake Paul is going to rocket up something and win a belt. No, I know. I think he's got power to a degree in the announcer. By the way, the whole telecast, and I watched the whole thing because I was so invested in my prediction and everything. The whole telecast is one of the weirdest telecasts I've ever seen. It was just basically sucking cock for the kingdom of Saudi Arabia the entire time. That's all. And honestly, if we could pull together something and be like Saudi Arabia would be interested in that, the Ministry of Sport, that's how you become super rich because they'll just buy anything. The whole card was weird, but yes, what Dan said, I never was like Jake Paul's unbelievable. I always think if he goes to a professional boxer with a decent record, he's going to struggle. He's fighting. I just thought Tommy Fury was not even close to that, and he still may not be.
And our two biggest problems: one, we were wrong. Two,
that's the worst.
The internet hates the Paul brothers, so it got confused as we thought Jake Paul was this incredible boxer. It was way more about Tommy Fury than Jake Paul. I updated my boxing rankings. I have Jake Paul the worst boxer in the world professionally, and Tommy Fury second to worst.
I don't know about. I honestly don't know. I agree with Dan 100%. I did not consider Tommy Fury a boxer. I still really.
It's true, Kevin. I know that. I'll eat the shit because it is. People will distill it to.
But
nobody could sit in those seats that Dan and I and watch that. Kevin, if I could have gotten $10 million down on that fight, I would have. We didn't have it legal. Thank God it wasn't. Yeah. But that's how confident I was.
But that's how stupid you are.
Right. No, that is abundantly clear that we did the one thing you're not
wrong.
Supposed to do.
You saw something 2 years ago.
Yes, correct. That part.
If it was last week, I'd understand. But
Jake Paul hit him with a clean right in the first round, left a red mark, and the announcers did say that may have put out the 45 to 50-year-old fighters he's been fighting. A young 23-year-old takes it. Again, I was off on time, and I sent Jake a text after. Having seen what I just saw in the whole picture of it, I am more impressed with Jake Paul's business and marketing than maybe anybody I've ever seen. For that fight, and his skill level to what he has done to make this much money in boxing without ever really having to prove that he can actually box is remarkable.
There's never been a doubt about Jake Paul, at least for me, the businessman. He's always been top notch.
Do you know, it is what he has done is beyond words. And it had a whole have you ever seen at a real fight? Like you had Logan wearing our hat, be like, fuck, he thought he's back in the WWE. I've never seen that in like a real fight. Like, fuck the Furies. I actually think, and this partly hurt, I think the Furies and the Pauls like each other. They're kind of like similar entertainers.
At the end of the ramp up, they were like, he got a gift for his daughter and they were nice to each other. Like, I think they both
all made a lot of money.
Ton of money. Yeah. That's my point. To get to have his skill set. And by the way, he's not awful. Like he beat MMA guys and an old Anderson Silva.
No, but he's not a boxer.
Correct.
There's a difference.
But also, the goalposts have been moved so far, so many times that we are now talking about a kid who was just a YouTube internet personality that can step in a ring with a boxer and go 8 rounds. Like that.
But Tommy Fury may not
so
be.
much shit that we lost. Sight of that.
So I have like zero interest in the rematch.
Me too.
Zero.
Right.
Like my allure to like Jake Paul, and by the way, this wasn't gonna solve it for me. Like if Jake Paul knocked him out and then knocked KSI out, I still would be like, I have no fucking idea how good this guy is because he's not fighting boxers. And I still don't know, but I know this. For anybody who's like, how good is he? He's not good enough to be a professional boxer.
No,
he's
and I never
great
thought
at what he does.
I just didn't think Tommy Fury was a professional boxer.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is he's cocky enough and entertaining enough that people will want to see him lose. Like I do think people will still tune in to whatever the next one is.
Yeah, probably.
Because they like to watch to root against him. And if he wins, I do still think there's a market for some people. I think a lot of people are in the same boat as you. Like we now know. But even if that's it, like it was a fucking crazy run.
Well, that's
go
what I'm
8
saying.
or 9 minutes, make the amount of money he made is like
what he did, who he fought, And then you got to give him credit because, again, we're saying he's not a professional boxer. He's still very good for what he is, and he has power in his right hand. Knocked out professional former MMA guys, not in their prime. To the route he took, the build-up he took to get to where he's a lead story on ESPN, all that. If you don't respect that, then you just don't respect anything.
He was in the same arena as like what we do. If one of us was fucking on getting boxing coverage and stepping in the ring and doing pay-per-views, we'd be like, this is the most incredible thing that's ever happened.
God knows how much.
And with Jake Paul, we I think in a way kind of took it for granted where it's just like, I don't know, he's doing it. And we just kept saying like, well, he's got to fight this person, got to fight that person. And he just kept going until he finally lost. But I mean, it's still crazy to go from, if you're not training your whole life for that sport to do what he did is unbelievable.
Can I just say,
I thought the post match, like Tommy Fury should have been like, yeah, I'm a professional boxer. This is no big deal. He was like, nobody believed in me. I can't believe I did.
He was an underdog.
Yeah, he was.
But I still
and he's not a boxer. I don't know what he is.
No, Dave, he is. You have to say he is.
No. Don't you think that if Tommy Fury, the way to play that would have been like, I'm not, this is just the beginning. I fought a YouTuber. Instead, he's acting like he fucking won the whole, like he was like a heavyweight champ. Meanwhile, and Jake Paul, I thought was, I think we all know how like the promotional game works. He was very humble, and defeat like sounded good afterwards. I thought the afterwards was crazy that Tommy Fury was like thumping his chest.
What if he goes on? What if Tommy Fury goes on to become like the best boxer of all time?
And we're wrong, and like he's the Floyd Mayweather, and it just happened that like Jake is Pacquiao. They just met him at the wrong time.
I do want to say
that ref, by the way. Where'd he come from? That guy was the worst ref ever.
Well, not only the refs, but the judges. Could you not rig one once for us?
I thought.
Like, come on. What's the whole point of sucking up to Saudi Arabia to not get a rigged fucking fight?
I thought we get. I can't even believe people are saying it was that close. That's like absolute madness.
Dave, if Jake Paul had won a rigged match and we had just puffed out our chests, people would have fucking rushed us.
When they said
so funny.
I feel like whenever they do it now, I don't have math on it, but I feel like whenever they do a split decision, the first guy who gets the first one always loses. It's like when they say Paul, then the second one But yeah, I was looking like, wait a minute, are we gonna snake out of here with this?
Well, I also, if once he had that one knockdown, I think opened the door for some like funny business to like throw it down.
And that was a knockdown, but it wasn't a damaged knockdown. It was like he caught him, and that's more like Tommy Fury's probably not a great boxer. His footwork was all out of shake, and he got like hit by a jab and fell down. So,
now you are retiring from being an analyst of combat sports, so I don't think you can speak on. I don't think you can speak on.
I know. Listen,
Rough and Rowdy 20.
Listen, Rough and Rowdy 20 is this Friday. I am gonna get into the lab and see if I can't spin this. This was not a sanctioned bout in the United States, so maybe no. I can't do celebrity boxing.
You said you can't give commentary on combat sports anymore.
Well, I can't give like predictions.
Okay, so you will not predict or bet or anything?
At least on not saying this is more sanctioned than that was. We're in the United States, like this was sanctioned by the Ministry of Sport in Saudi Arabia. Who knows what that is? I don't. So we at least are sanctioned by West Virginia.
You know it's bad when Dave can't spin himself out of it because he usually, when he did the quote, when you did the like
trees
Etsy like quote board, I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah,
this is bad.
I really took a pretty big stand on it. And like you said, we were duped. I shouldn't be taking stands on celebrity boxing. I just shouldn't.
No.
Not stands like that. It's a crazy stand.
It's a good thing you didn't go on the #1 podcast in the world and say
in the world with like the #1 combat sports guy and tell him you're wrong, I'm right.
Sitting there smoking that cigar, being like, you're a fucking idiot. Crazy day in college hoops. All sorts of action across the board. You can go anywhere. At Iowa, Michigan State blew like a 10-point lead with a minute to go. You had a buzzer beater in Arizona State, Arizona, Florida State. I don't know how many they were down versus Miami at one point.
25.
25. Miami hit a shot with 4 seconds. FSU answered buzzer beater. Michigan yesterday versus your Wisconsin. The big guy, Hunter Dickinson, hits a last-second 3 to send it to overtime after Wisconsin doesn't foul. And then you had the Fran McCaffrey also with their stare down. So all sorts of stuff. And then you had the Alabama, this guy, Nate Oates. So they have all this controversy going with the gun incident. And the player, what's his name again?
Brandon Williams.
No.
Yeah.
Mile.
Miller. Brandon Miller. He's a very good player. He's going to be a top five
lottery. Comes out and a walk-on does the pat down to him move. And now Alabama's like, we've been doing that the whole year. That means nothing. Nobody had died and there wasn't gun incidents, so you should put that back. And Nate Oates.
Douchebag.
Nate Oates now said, I don't know what my players are doing when they're on the court. I don't know what they're doing late. I can't control them. I don't know what they're doing in warmups. Yeah. What do you know what they're doing? Only scumbags would have his back right now in that program. Like
Rico would cares more about Alabama basketball than Barstool.
Rico would kill for him, like the Naked Gun killed the Queen.
And Rico's in a good spot right now where he's like doing the right things, but it's funny because everyone's like, credit to Rico, he's saying the right things. He's doing that because Dave called him and just completely obliterated him.
Yeah, I did. But he also believes what he's saying.
Fill me in. I'm not up on what Rico's doing.
So this happened. So the Alabama thing happens. You've seen that story. By hook or by crook, Rico Bosco is an Alabama basketball guy. He's like good friends with Nate Oates, good friends. They like text each other.
Nate Oates guy. He's not even Alabama basketball.
He has linked himself to Alabama basketball. He talks about it every single day. That's his team. It's as much as you said, hey, Kevin, Mets, Dan, Bears, Dave, Patriots. He is somehow become the Alabama basketball. So this story breaks crickets. 2 days, he doesn't say a fucking word.
Not a word, Kevin.
He's supposed to go on advisor to Brandon, makes up a million excuses why he can't go. So I called him. First, I texted him. I go, listen, your job's gone. Like, you just prepare for next year. Because if you're not going to talk about this is like your moment. Like most people
I was going to say, like, even
die for their...
Crazy.
Do something.
Now's the time to shine. Yeah.
Most people, that's what you fight for. That it's the lead story on sports. We don't have anybody else in this vehicle, and it's a stroke of luck that you happen. So I ripped him apart. He's been very good covering. Now, he is not covering it for show. On the phone call, he was saying and I'm like, I think you're crazy. Someone got murdered. Just win, baby, or whatever you're doing doesn't bring this woman back to life. I don't even know. I've heard mixed stories on this going back. Like the kid didn't even know the gun was in the car. I don't believe that. The lawyer is going to lawyer. But whatever the case may be, even if he's 100% innocent, and this isn't the NBA, this is a college. One of your players was involved. He's definitely got a text saying, bring my gun, and seemingly brought it. He shouldn't be playing. Like, just cool off, and the coach. Yeah. Right, and that's not saying innocent guilty. That's just like you're a college institution. Like he shouldn't be playing. So, anyways, Rico believes in what he's saying. He's doing the right thing.
By the way, if you do play and you do some fucking, the pat, like then it's like, we gave you a chance here.
How you have to literally both of those people, the kid who patted him down and the player. I like just how incredibly dumb are you?
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. And so he's saying the right things now because he got the riot act by Dave.
And when I say saying the right things, just he's on it. And that's I was like, I can't believe I have to tell you to be on it. It's like if you couldn't figure that out.
He did people got mad at me because he tweeted out after Wisconsin lost 10 best golf courses in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I saw
Greg Gart, and I just replied 10 psych wards in Staten Island. And people were like, that's too far. It's like, bro, that's what we do. Like, he's back. We're making jokes. It's fun. He's like, we're cool. He's good. Like, he's trying to come back for March. I told him March is big. I had a big talk with him. I was like, this is your time. You got to fuck up.
To think that the move at Barstool when your lane becomes hot is to go dark is.
Oh, but that's because Rico knows probably some things are bigger than sports guy. He knows.
Yeah, he's not that. Right. That he's a fraud.
That's gone. You can't say some things are bigger than sports anymore. No.
Some things are bigger. Everything every pillar he stands for has been a lie.
Correct.
Forever. Like he's proven that every step of the way, which is fine.
But I'm happy he's back, even if it took that, because I do want him around in March. Like I want him in the mix in March, mixing it up with everyone. I told him, I was like, dude, I'll root for you, but like you got to fucking start working. You have to just work, and he has not been working, but now he is. So we're a week in. See how it goes.
And I, Elio,
it won't go well. No,
way,
Kevin. Just so you know, I'm very much. It won't go well.
Dan, I didn't tell you this. One of the guy we met. So I was at Oakland. I'm wearing the hat with Elio. Some guy, I wasn't there, came up to Elio and gave him like 5 handwritten pages of being like a handicapper. One of the picks, that Lindstrom game or whatever, the school I'd never heard of. They were down 17 with 5 minutes to go, and they covered. They won by a point in overtime. This guy won 3 games on schools I haven't heard about by combined 1.5 points.
Insane.
Unbelievable.
It was. So that's Saturday. Like Fran McCaffrey, I think that started it all because that stare down was so fucking funny.
Hilarious.
That was like Madison Bumgarner with Joe West. Like they both of them just stepping towards each other and knowing that like this is not going to end unless someone gets pulled away here. But that's like that comeback by Iowa, the buzzer beaters. There was buzzer beaters all the way to like midnight. San Diego State hit a buzzer beater in Rick Pitino Jr.'s face. I don't know. You were at the horse track day, but like it was one of those reminders like, oh, best time of year is coming. Like buckle up.
That may have been the best day of college basketball regular season I ever remember. It was one gigantic beater after another. NBA. Things starting to move and shake. And to end that day, the Celtics-Sixers game was an unbelievable ending. You had Tatum hitting a 3 at basically with 1.5 seconds, and then coming back, you had Embiid, the full court shot that doesn't count by an inch. Lakers came back from 27 down. I tweeted that out as well when they were down, saying it was important. So the NBA and then Phoenix is starting. Where do you guys sit? Like right now, the Celtics actually playing the Knicks, who are red hot tonight.
You also got Dame putting up, 70?
Yeah. So the NBA is kind of up. I still think the Celtics are by far the best team in the league. I think it's stealing whenever they're like 2-point favorites like versus the Knicks tonight. I think that's crazy. I think they're way better than the Knicks. And in the West, I don't know. I don't know who's coming out of the West.
It's not the Mavs. That's for sure. That's not going to work.
No, I agree with that.
How have the Suns played since the Durant trade?
They lost the other night to Milwaukee last night. They've been okay. And then no one talks about Sacramento. They're good. Memphis.
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Nuggets are the 1 seed, and
but
Jokic
I
win another one.
I just don't trust them in the playoffs.
No, I don't either. I think it's I think the winner of Bucks Celtics is going to win the title.
We almost beat the Bucks without our 4 starters the other night. I'm not too worried about the Bucks. I'm debating when Massachusetts goes live, which is supposed to be March 10th, of putting like, I don't know, $500,000 on the Celtics. They're only 3-1 though. It's like it can't get lower than that, can it?
No, not until like they actually get to like the conference finals.
Right. So that's my only thing. Why would I bet now if someone gets hurt? Because those odds can't do any better. All right, moving on. This story's crazy. So Lady Gaga, a while ago, everyone knows I'm a monster. She had her dog stolen. A dog walker was walking it. The dog's stolen. Gaga offered, I will give, I believe, $500,000 reward, no questions asked, to who returns the dog. The person who stole the dog, returned the dog, did not get the reward, and is now suing Lady Gaga in court because the lawsuit claims Lady Gaga said $500,000 reward, no questions asked. And now you're asking questions.
Wait, I'm on the side of this lady.
I mean, there probably is some sort of, when you offer a reward, it's probably some sort of like legal standing, right? Like if you say so.
This is like.
But that's like the story when someone falls through your roof when they were trying to rob you and they break your leg and they sue the homeowner, but it like for some reason is allowed.
I think it's kind of like in NFL, which I've never understood, when a defensive guy goes off sides and the offensive guy gets called for holding the guy who went off sides. It's like, well, I'm only holding him because he was running. Yeah. So fine. If you want to say yes, Gaga, you have to pay this woman. She should also be allowed to be beaten to death.
Right, because then you get the money, but you're admitting that you stole
Correct.
it. So now we have
Here's
but
your
it was
money.
no questions asked.
Yeah, but fine. So Dan, here's your money. Like I promised, no questions asked. Now I know who you are.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to send people to beat the shit out of you.
Right, our reward negotiation is done. No questions
Correct.
are being asked.
I'm
Now
not leaving it in like
I'm
a
opening second
mailbox.
case where I let like pit bulls eat you to death. Because
Correct.
Yeah.
Like
So we
I didn't
definitely
ask
think this woman
questions.
Took Lady Gaga's dog.
We know she did.
She did.
Oh.
She's admitted it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Wait.
I
She's
missed
been
that
beat,
part.
but then she
That's
was
the
like,
whole
I've got the
story.
dog,
Oh,
so I can
okay,
return it.
yeah. Then she should get the money and then be like put in prison.
Murdered. If
Yeah.
you steal someone's dog, you should be murdered.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
should
That's
be,
bad.
like Kim Jong does. He's like fed people to dogs. It's like eye for an eye. You steal my dog, my dog kills you.
Correct.
A wolf. eats
Or
you.
you just hand the money, a baseball bat behind you, give it to her, and then you just fucking, kill this person.
But I don't think she's allowed to ask any questions.
No, that's fine.
Okay, just so we're clear.
No
I'm
questions
fine
asked.
with no,
No
questions
questions
being
asked.
asked. Here's
Should
your
be
money. Now you're
a
dead.
stack of money
Yeah.
and
Right.
a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But don't be like, got any last words, bitch? That's a question.
Well, no, I think once you give the money, you can do whatever you want.
No, I don't think you can ask questions ever.
Well, no.
No, yes, you
can't ask
can.
Questions in perpetuity? No.
No.
can't
Once
ask
you have the-
questions in that moment,
Correct.
and then there's a new question asking open.
You think that opens up new questions?
After
I don't
money's been
even.
given,
Yes, questions like once she takes the money, your contract of what you said is done.
because you know what it is. It's questions about whether or not you deserve the money. I'm not questioning that. I'm giving you the money. I'm now asking you questions such as, how do you want to die? Because I'm
Correct.
going to you.
Okay. I would
Correct.
prefer no questions asked.
So
Just
you
by
just
the-
murder them. You just murder.
Yeah,
the
right,
person.
right. I agree with we're on the same side. Like stealing someone's dog is beyond reprehensible.
Lowest.
But if you want to come out clean, if you're Lady Gaga, you give her the money, you kill her, but you never ask a question.
Fine, you can do that.
Stealing
You-
a dog, like what? It's the
Death.
lowest of the low. It's like
It's death.
It's
how much
despicable.
money are you going to sell it? Like there's a million. You could steal Lady Gaga's jewelry, or like there's a million other ways.
It's the worst. Maybe
How
they
is
didn't
she
know
not
it's
in
got-
prison? How is she not in prison?
Because no questions asked.
Yeah, fuck. So
That's
that's really
lesson.
what it is. You gotta do the $500,000, but don't say no questions
It
asked.
should
Next
be like
time.
$500,000, one question asked, and you get to
Okay.
ask the question: are you the person who stole my dog?
Well,
Right.
she knows it. She's being sued. So again, I think you give the money, even if she just Lady Gaga just all right.
There you go.
A question is not a picture. Like here's your money, and put it all over the place. This lady stole my dogs.
Right.
Like she deserves the worst punishment in the world. The
But
NCAA,
no one else can ask Lady Gaga a question either. They can't be like, "How do you want us to kill her?"
No, fine. Well, no, it's that. No
can
questions
ask
asked.
Lady
It's
Gaga a
yeah,
question.
correct. That's just
No,
the
I don't
lady.
think there can be any questions along this
Yeah,
case.
all right, now you're just being silly.
Yeah, right. NCAA versus Cavinder Twins. See, these are these two blonde, pretty basketball players, super viral, super TikTok-y. They played at Fresno State. They went to Miami. The NCAA has issued a violation because they're saying the coach, the women's coach, connected them to John Ruiz, who was like the big booster from Miami. I don't get this. It was a free meal or something. The NCAA, when you see people like hanging off a cliff and they just have their fingers like at the top, like barely hanging on, barely trying to stay away, like this is that. You're already letting NIL. You don't want like what are we talking about
And
here?
it's such a coward move by the NCAA to do it with women athletes because they
Yep.
know that if they went after like an Alabama recruit, Alabama fans would just be like,
No,
any.
And they
big
made
time
a
football-
video. They made a video about that. These two making
Right.
fun of the NCAA.
It's so clear. You're taking the coward's way out, being like, let's get these two women for this issue when everyone else is doing it. Fuck the NCAA.
because they're popular enough that it makes noise and they can look like the big bad NCAA, but they don't have to.
But it doesn't affect. Yeah, like right. Like if this was a recruit at USC, it
Right.
would be like.
And why? Where is this mythical or mythological line in the sand that the school can't be hey, we have interest? Like you don't think that's fucking happening? And why? I think didn't California just say it could happen? Like, I think California passed a law saying schools can act as the middleman, but in certain states, it's so fucking stupid. Like, I'd rather have the school involved. Maybe keep, like, real scumbags and criminals out of it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But regardless, like, once they open this door, like, you can't stop this shit from happening. Like, this is the old NCAA.
Yeah, right. Well, but that's why it's like,
I bought you a sweatshirt, but not anymore. We're making.
Yeah, what are you fighting against NCAA? Speaking of NCAA, Dan, I don't know if I told you, through Danny Boy Kane, I went on one of his spaces, and some guy who I didn't know, it's a space, he's like, would you guys ever do, like, behind the scenes at Miami? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, just going, talking. I had dinner with Mario Cristobal, like, last week.
How'd it go?
I can't tell if they're trying to get me a booster or what's going on.
I bet.
But he wrote me. I got a mail today, a nice handwritten letters, like, looking forward to seeing you at, like, spring ball. I like Mario, but it's like
Portnoy was a booster.
I said 10 times during dinner. I went to Michigan. You guys know that, right? Like,
right. But Dave, do you think this might? And this might be a crazy conspiracy theory trying to connect dots and stuff. Do you think this might have anything to do with the fact that you just made a shitload of money?
Yeah, coulda. But that was before.
Dave went to dinner with a stripper and was like, "This is fucking sick."
Listen, I'm getting more. I'm going through that whole round right now of, like, do you want to invest in, like, tractor equipment and this and that? It's like, I don't know what anyone's talking about.
Tractor equipment.
Yeah, literally.
You should become a tractor equipment guy.
A farm guy? If you're a big agriculture guy? Ooh.
Yeah. I swear to God.
No, I like Mario. I hope Miami is
well,
absolutely.
here's the thing. You're a Michigan guy, but, like, you know,
I don't even know they like us at Michigan. I would like they from what Taylor Lewan, they wouldn't let us, like, use the logos at Miami. I'm going out for nice dinners.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's where Miami thinks the door is probably.
But I am a Michigan guy through and through. So, I mean, if the money's going anywhere, it's going to Michigan. But I felt like I could have some control at Miami. And by the way, I understand Danny Boy Kane now. Like, I was pretty convinced they're going, like, 11-0 by the time the dinner ended. He's got some boys in there.
Here's a question for you, Dave. What if Mario Cristobal says to you, we need a donation of $5 million. And in exchange for that, tickets suite to every game, you get 5 plays whenever you want.
No, I need a lot. I need for $5 million, I'd have to be close to the offensive coordinator.
Okay, all right.
Which, if that, I would, and I probably have a good mind for it. The baseball pitch clock, big news. The Red Sox preseason game ended with a step off. Everyone seems to be pretty much, I think, liking the pitch clock. I think it's like 5 seconds too fast.
It's a little bit fast and it feels uncomfortable, but also, like, I've forever thought
maybe add 5 in, like, the 8th and 9th.
Haven't you thought every baseball game I've ever watched is like the reset of everything.
I agree.
Is so crazy.
But this was go.
But that's like the beginning. Like, this year and the next year will be like, it's a little uncomfortable, and then it'll be normal. And that version of baseball is way more normal than what we've been doing for the last 50 years of resetting the whole fucking game every single pitch. So I agree that it feels uncomfortable right now, but only because we've been doing it wrong for so long.
Live betting in baseball, that's out the window.
It's done. And it's it was, I was watching a game over the weekend. It's like, you can't take your eyes off baseball now, which is what they're wanting to do. Cause, like, baseball always used to be the game I'd put on one of the smaller TVs and I'd be like, I'm watching out of the corner of my eye, because you know that the action is slow. Now it's like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, it is true. And I think the whole time has kind of been like, pace of play stuff is trying to get non-baseball fans to like baseball, and baseball fans are okay with that. You know what I mean? But I understand that they have to get outside their bubble.
Yeah, it's the right move.
Don't like the sport, you know?
I do think. I don't know.
I'm very interested.
Will pitching faster get, like, a kid who likes football and basketball involved in baseball?
Probably.
I don't know. You know? Really the problem. But
I'm very interested to see the pickoff stuff too. When that
is actually
high leverage.
I think that brings back the stolen base, which brings back a whole other element of the game. That, I think, actually leads to the game itself being more interesting. You can only throw over a couple times because now you have, You get a man on base in the late innings, and you're gonna be able to steal a bag. Like you're gonna get a big lead to steal a bag every time. You know. So.
All right, that is everything. I had 2 things post show, but I forgot to write them down. I already forgot. I forgot what there was.
I had a hypothetical, Kevin. This is for you only, not Dave, because he's gonna shit on us for it. But I was just like thinking about how shitty all my teams are. Yeah. So the hypothetical is, in the next 50 years, you win 1 Super Bowl, but the other 49 years you don't even go to the playoffs, or in the next 50 years you lose 15 Super Bowls.
So
I was like,
all the time you get to go, you get to enjoy Super Bowl week,
you win playoff games, you win championships.
Every regular season's awesome, but you also become, I mean,
a joke, yeah.
But I mean, like the Bills became like an eternal joke for 4. You're talking about 3.5.
It's spread out over 50.
I think this is an easy.
Well,
easy
Dave,
answer.
I said this question wasn't for you.
All right, fine, whatever.
I still think you can't go to your grave not knowing what the pinnacle is.
I
like.
know, but 49 years of missing the playoffs and only having 1.
And
like,
do you know when the 1 comes? Like,
no, it's random.
Because that's if you get it when you're like 80, who fucking cares?
Right.
Like,
and you don't know that you're gonna lose 15.
Right.
You just are.
Every year you just think.
Yeah, you're like, hey, this is gonna be it. I asked you,
the ignorance of it actually makes it more interesting.
Right.
I think knowing the hypothetical, I have to pick the Super Bowl. But if somehow I didn't know what was happening, I would probably prefer the 15.
I asked Jerry this, and his take was so perfect. He's like, oh, I take the 15 all day, because even when the Steelers lost to the Packers, I talk shit about all the other 30 teams. They weren't in that game.
Right.
He was like, I was just talking shit to everyone but the Packers.
Yeah. What would you take, Dave?
Thank you, Kevin. I would take the 1. There's nothing like winning a Super Bowl. It's the
And
best feeling in the world.
you're
I've had,
winning,
6 of them? They never get old. Every time you win it, it's the best feeling in the world. Losing's crushing. It's not worth it.
I feel like, Dave, for you, I would say for normal people, the first one is the best one. But I don't think that's it at all.
6 is probably the
like
best.
your last one was your best one, which is crazy.
Or no,
the
the
Super
Falcons.
Bowls?
No, the Seahawks probably was your best.
Oh, well, you got to remember. The first one, we were a huge underdog. Nobody ever thought we'd win again. So it's like, we'll never be here again.
That's why I didn't want to bring it in.
Then you start going down the dynasty. It's like we're the best team in the world.
Losers.
Then
We're losers.
The 28-3 game is the greatest comeback ever. The Malcolm Butler interception in the end zone, the greatest play in the history of the Super Bowl. There's so many.
In this hypothetical, Kevin, it would suck if so it's all random, if you won the Super Bowl the first year.
Right. And then you're like, just sucks.
Because if you went like 30 years of not making the playoffs and one random year you won the Super Bowl, that I would take. Like that story of like, holy fuck.
Right.
It's basically the Lions. It's sad because I threw it out there and the Lions were like, you just said our franchise. What the fuck?
What switching. Have you guys seen that Murdoch show, the murder?
Yes,
one?
I was the one who told you about it.
Shit's crazy.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That guy looks like a bad guy. And I'm glad. Is this bad? Like, I'm glad they got murdered.
Yeah, they didn't seem like great people.
No, the whole family is.
The fucking housekeeper is the one who got the shaft. I feel worse for her and her family. That's
I would say the random gay kid that got killed was pretty bad.
Yeah,
pretty
but
horrific.
I mean, I guess all of them getting murdered. I will say, awful, tragedy, horrific story, crazy goes on. All those people on the boat need a little more responsibility.
Crazy. For just let that guy continue to drive. Like, well, we couldn't stop him. Like,
yeah, well, don't get on the boat. Don't let him drive. He's a 5'7". Like, it clearly.
I don't know.
I just thought they made a much bigger difference between like who was actually driving boat. You're on the boat.
I saw it and I was like, the 17-year-old kids in this fucking family is so evil. The fact that they were at the hospital.
Well, yeah, that's
seconds later being like, oh yeah, you weren't driving, right? Like, oh, this guy was. You don't know.
Totally, they're the worst. I'm just saying. And this is for anybody like watching or listening, though. Dead serious. Like, you do have to take responsibility. Like, yes, drunk driving, it's
don't
like
get
the
on the
leading
boat.
cause of death. Don't call an Uber. Don't get
back on the boat. Yeah.
Right. Or when the kid's like, he's 5'7". The other kid's gigantic. Be like,
you just
yo,
move him.
move.
Yeah.
I'm driving the boat.
But then you end up murdered. That's how this family rolls.
Well, you know what's crazy is just
not true.
Like, those, they were like 3 generations of like very powerful lawyers, but they're not like. It was just interesting to see how like a small town in the South can be dominated by a family.
Well, but like Dan said,
money, you know,
if you know they murder their enemies, that's a problem.
right? Yeah,
That's like Roadhouse. That guy murders his enemies.
Yeah, not only do they murder their enemies, but they control the courts that decide if the murder happened.
Yeah,
correct.
But it just makes me think about the people who are really powerful in this country with a lot of money. Like if that family can do what they did in that town, forget about it. You know,
totally. So there's that, and then my trip to Oakland. Dan, you're right. I loved it. They rolled out the red carpet. You had met the owner's son. They rolled out the red carpet. We got smoked, but where Rebel Weekend will now be an annual trip for us. I don't know if you saw Elio's Mr. Ice video on the plane.
Oh yeah.
I have now been with him in 3 to 4 of the strange. He ripped his shirt off in the owner's box in the bathroom with people in there screaming in the bathroom. And then in the plane, the pilot, the look, I knew it. It's like, oh, this pilot is going to think we're going down with him yelling in the back. So, but
it is one of those places though, like for horse racing fans, I love like Saratoga's like this.
It's a mini Saratoga in a lot of respects.
Keeneland is like that, where it's like the town is just race culture, and it's like everyone. It's what's going on. The history of that town is crazy too. Like Al Capone.
Yeah, I asked fucking
spring training there.
Yeah, I asked fucking Nadu. I'm like, any advice because it's mobster city, and he was like, I like Fresno State tonight. No, Nadu. I said, any advice in Hot Springs, like mob advice.
Did you do the Hot Springs?
No, we didn't have time. We're in and out.
So Kevin, it's Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's like the mountainside. All these old hotels have like bathhouses where they get the water from the mountain, and it started because like it was basically like Al Capone thought that like the hot springs would cure syphilis. It basically was like, remember when Dave started taking those weird pills and said he was 10X? It was just the older version of that. And
I'm not ruling out. I got those stem cells on my shoulder not too long ago. It like when I was 10Xing, my shoulder felt better. My shoulder's back to like as bad as it's been. So I got to re-look for something to do.
Stem cells.
How do you go about stem cells? You just got to be rich. You got to have a hookup or what?
10X.
10X if you're with me. 10X.
Yeah, they 10X'd it. But no, it's a must. It's a must stop for horse racing fans. So I'll be back there. We got absolutely smoked, but we'll go back there.
I want to go back. I mean, the Arkansas Derby's awesome too.
It's Final Four weekend.
That's
why we do. That's why we did Rebel. That's why Rebel will be the weekend because it's Final Four weekend.
Yeah.
So
okay.
All right. There it is. It's a rundown.